I'm sitting at the kitchen table watching Margaret fold dish towels. It's something she does every morning after breakfast, smoothing each one flat before stacking them in the drawer by the sink. Her hands move the same way they did when I first watched her do this 58 years ago, though the skin is thinner now, spotted with age. She doesn't know I'm watching. Or maybe she does. After all this time, it's hard to say what we know about each other and what we just pretend not to notice. I'm 78 years old. Margaret is 76. We've been married longer than most people live, and there was a time, not that long ago really, when I thought it would end. Not dramatically, not with shouting or affairs or any of the things you see in movies. It almost ended because I left my coffee cup on the counter every single morning for 30 years. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? 58 years of marriage nearly destroyed by a coffee cup. But that's not quite right. It wasn't the cup. It was never the cup. I remember the morning I finally understood. It was a Tuesday in March, 7 years ago. Nothing special about it. Margaret had asked me again to please put my cup in the dishwasher instead of leaving it on the counter. She said it quietly, the way she always did, and I said, okay, the way I always did. Then I left it on the counter anyway, not because I meant to, but because I was thinking about something else. Work, probably, or the lawn. Something that seemed important at the time, but that I can't remember now. She didn't say anything. She just picked up the cup and put it in the dishwasher herself, and the silence that followed felt different somehow, heavier. I left for work, and she went about her day, and that night we ate dinner and watched television and went to bed, and everything seemed fine. But it wasn't fine. It hadn't been fine for a long time. See, here's what I didn't understand back then. Every time Margaret picked up that cup, she wasn't just putting a dish away. She was swallowing a small piece of being unseen, a tiny moment of thinking, he doesn't care enough to remember what I asked. And I did care. I loved her. I love her now. But love and attention aren't the same thing, and I'd somehow convinced myself that because I loved her, the small things didn't matter. The coffee cup was just one thing. There were others. So many others. I left my shoes in the hallway. I forgot to replace the toilet paper roll. I said I'd fix the screen door and then didn't for 3 years. I interrupted her when she was telling stories. I looked at my phone during dinner. I made plans without checking with her first, assuming she'd be fine with whatever I decided. None of these things were terrible on their own. That's what made them so dangerous. If I'd done something truly awful, cheated, lied about money, been cruel, we could have confronted it. We could have fought about it, cried about it, maybe even fixed it. But how do you fight about a coffee cup? How do you cry about shoes in the hallway? You don't. You just pick them up day after day, year after year, and you tell yourself it's not worth arguing about because it's such a small thing. Until one day you've picked up 10,000 coffee cups and you realize you've been invisible for decades. The moment I understood this, really understood it, was that night, 7 years ago. We were getting ready for bed, and Margaret was brushing her teeth, and I noticed she was crying. Not sobbing, just tears running down her face while she brushed, like it was something she'd learned to do silently so she wouldn't disturb me. I asked her what was wrong. She looked at me in the mirror, and I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Not anger. Anger would have been easier. It was exhaustion, a kind of weariness that went bone deep. "I'm tired, Jack," she said. "I'm so tired." I told her to come to bed, that she'd feel better after sleep. She shook her head. "No," she said. "I'm tired of being the only one who notices. I'm tired of reminding you. I'm tired of being married to someone who can't remember to put a cup in the dishwasher." I got defensive. Of course I did. I said it was just a cup. I said she was being unreasonable. I said I worked hard and did plenty around the house, and she was focusing on stupid little things that didn't matter. She looked at me for a long moment, and then she said something that I still hear in my head sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep. "You're right," she said. "They are little things, and every single one of them tells me that I'm a little thing too." She slept in the guest room that night, and the next night, and the night after that. We lived in the same house, ate meals at the same table, but there was a distance between us that felt wider than any ocean. We were polite, distant, two people who'd forgotten how to be anything other than roommates who shared a last name. I thought about what she'd said. I thought about it a lot. At first I was angry, then defensive, then slowly I started to pay attention in a way I hadn't before. I watched her move through the house, and I saw things I'd never noticed, or things I'd noticed but never thought about. I saw her pick up my shoes every day. I saw her close cabinets I'd left open. I saw her turn off lights I'd left on, fold blankets I'd tossed on the couch, water plants I'd said I would water, sort mail I'd left in piles. I saw her make my coffee the way I liked it. I saw her buy my favorite cereal even though she didn't eat it. I saw her record the shows I wanted to watch. I saw her rearrange her schedule to accommodate mine without ever asking me to do the same. I saw 58 years of small attentions I'd taken for granted, mistaking her love for her job. We have this idea, I think, that love is about the big moments, the proposal, the wedding, the birth of children, the anniversaries. And those things matter, they do, but marriage isn't built on moments. It's built on thousands of ordinary days, and on those days, love isn't a feeling. It's a choice you make in small ways over and over again. It's remembering to put the cup in the dishwasher. It's replacing the toilet paper. It's fixing the screen door. It's listening when your wife talks instead of planning what you'll say next. It's noticing the little things she does and matching them with little things of your own. I'd thought that as long as I loved Margaret, as long as I was faithful and provided and didn't do anything terrible, I was being a good husband. But I'd been wrong. I'd been showing up to our marriage like it was a job with minimum requirements, and as long as I met those requirements, I deserved to pass. I never thought about excellence. I never thought about what it meant to truly see her, to truly choose her every single day. 3 weeks after she started sleeping in the guest room, I fixed the screen door. Then I fixed the loose tile in the bathroom I'd been meaning to get to for 5 years. I started putting my cup in the dishwasher, my shoes in the closet. I asked her how her day was and then actually listened to the answer. I noticed when she got her hair cut. I thanked her for the things she did that I'd stopped seeing. At first she didn't trust it. She'd seen me try before in small spurts, usually after she'd gotten upset about something. I'd be good for a week, maybe 2, and then I'd slide back into old habits. Why would this time be different? I didn't try to convince her with words. Words were cheap. I'd said, I'll try harder 100 times over the years, and she'd learned that my promises had an expiration date, so I just kept showing up every day with the small things. It took months, maybe 6, maybe 8. I can't remember exactly when she started sleeping in our room again or when the distance between us started to close. It happened gradually, the same way it had opened. One day I made her coffee and she smiled at me, really smiled, not the polite smile she'd been using, but the one I remembered from when we were young. One day we were doing dishes together and she bumped her hip against mine, playful. One day she reached for my hand while we were watching television and I realized I couldn't remember the last time she'd done that. The strange thing is I'm grateful for those months. Not for the pain, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but for what they taught me. I'd been coasting through our marriage, assuming it would always be there, assuming Margaret would always be there, picking up after me and forgiving me and loving me despite my inattention. I'd treated our marriage like something that maintained itself, like a rock or a tree, when really it was more like a garden. It needed tending. It needed care. It needed me to show up, not just physically, but with my full attention and effort. I wish I'd understood that sooner. I wish I hadn't needed to almost lose her to learn how to love her better. But I'm 78 years old, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that regret is just another way of saying you've grown. You can't regret what you didn't understand. You can only do better once you know better. These days, I still leave my coffee cup on the counter sometimes. My memory isn't what it used to be, and some mornings I'm moving slow and I forget. But when Margaret picks it up now, when I see her carry it to the dishwasher, I stop what I'm doing. I walk over to her. I take the cup from her hands and I put it away myself and I say thank you. Thank you for picking up after me. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for still being here. Sometimes she looks at me like I'm being silly. Sometimes she rolls her eyes. Sometimes she kisses my cheek and tells me I'm an old fool. But I can see it in her face, the difference it makes. Not because the cup matters, because the attention matters, because being seen matters. I think about younger couples sometimes, the ones just starting out. I want to tell them it's not the big fights you need to worry about. Those ones you'll see coming. You'll deal with them because you have to. It's the small things, the 1,000 tiny dismissals, the million little moments of not quite paying attention. Those are the ones that will erode your foundation so slowly you won't notice until you're standing in the rubble wondering what happened. You'll think you're doing fine because you're not fighting. You'll think you're doing fine because you still say, I love you. You'll think you're doing fine because nothing terrible has happened. But love isn't the absence of terrible things. Love is the presence of small attentions. It's noticing. It's remembering. It's treating your person like they're the most important person in the room, even when the room is just your kitchen on a Tuesday morning. Your person will do things for you. So many things. Small things, mostly. Things that seem so minor you might not even notice them happening. They'll remember how you take your coffee. They'll buy the snacks you like. They'll move their schedule around yours. They'll listen to your stories even when they've heard them before. They'll accommodate your preferences, your moods, your needs. And if you're not careful, you'll start to think these things happen automatically. You'll stop seeing them. You'll stop matching them with effort of your own. And one day you'll wake up and realize you've been taking someone for granted for so long that they're not sure they want to be taken anymore. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I lived it and because I almost lost the best thing in my life over it. I'm saying it because you still have time, because you can start noticing today. You can start matching their effort today. You can start showing up today, not just with your presence, but with your attention. It's not hard. That's the thing that makes it so sad. It's not hard at all. Put the cup in the dishwasher, close the cabinet, replace the toilet paper. Fix the thing you said you'd fix. Listen when they talk. Look up from your phone. Say thank you. Notice the small things they do and do small things in return. Do them not because you have to, but because your person deserves to be seen. Because love isn't just a feeling you have, it's a practice, a discipline, a choice you make in ordinary moments over and over again until those moments add up to a lifetime. Margaret is still folding dish towels. She's moved on to the hand towels now, making neat squares the way her mother taught her 60 years ago. The morning sun is coming through the window, catching the white in her hair, and I'm watching her, really watching her, the way I've learned to do, the way I wish I'd always done. In a minute I'll get up and make us more coffee. I'll put my cup in the dishwasher when I'm done. I'll ask her if she wants to sit on the porch, watch the birds at the feeder. Small things, ordinary things, the things that make a marriage, the things I almost lost her over, the things I'll never stop paying attention to again,